How's it going, YouTube? My name's ElbaNinja7, your resident Mistweaver monk, and guys, I'm sure you can tell on the screen or have seen it already, but there is some class tuning that happened today, and it does include a nerf to Mistweaver. Now, I wasn't gonna make a video talking about this because, honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a lot of you guys, like a whole lot of you guys, have been asking me what I think about these changes, so let's go and talk about them. So, like I said, Mistweaver is getting nerfed, and we'll go back through a couple of the other healer changes. Let's just start off with the big one, for us, at least us Mistweaver mains. So Mistweaver, all healing is reduced by 6%. This obviously does not affect PvP combat. So this is geared mostly toward raid, because in Mythic Plus, this will not affect basically anything. No one's going to die because they would have otherwise received 6% more healing. It's just not going to happen. Your spot healing is so strong that this 6% does not even touch that. They also compensation buffed a few other spells, but starting off with this, so just a flat reduction across the board to all of our healing. Now, a lot of you guys I saw were very upset about this change, because it always does suck when your class gets nerfed. Trust me, I've been a doom and gloomer in the past. You guys, I'm sure you can go back to some of my old ones and you can see me, why did they nerf us? But honestly, I mean, this is so warranted. We were doing a ton of healing. We were doing a lot more healing than any other spec in Raid. And I just want to show you guys a quick napkin math example. I have one of my logs here on just a random boss. I literally clicked the first one and found like a perfect example. But let me start off by saying that some of my co-healers in my guild are some of the best players that I have ever played with. Nico, our Disc Priest, Muya, our Restoration Druid, and our old Paladin, Pelinal, are easily, I could easily see them being within the top 100 healers in the entire world. Like, my guild might not be bleeding edge, but this healer core is. Like, they are absolutely insane. So in tiers past, when things are a bit more balanced in terms of strictly throughput, these guys are out healing me with their eyes closed. They are insane, like very good at the game. But look at this. This is just, like I said, a random pool where we both, me and Nico, both have a very similar parse. We both parse very similarly, meaning that in our spec, me with Mistweaver, them with Disc Priest, we landed, on similar percentiles within our spec. However, if you look over here, I healed, roughly 10% more than them. So already you can kind of see that this is kind of just a very small version of that big graph that I'm sure you guys have seen where Mistweaver is just out healing everyone else. Also, if you go to like just a random fight, okay, we just go to, I'll just say Volcaros. It's literally the most random fight I clicked on. We'll go to healing, and I'm sure we're going to see a ton of green. I mean, look at that. So much green. We just have the potential to heal a lot more. And I'm sure if you click on any of these parses, they're probably 3 healing because we just allow them to do that. Look at this. 2 healing. Because Mistweaver allows that because of how much throughput they do. It's just insane. Like, we do a ton of healing when played correctly. And now that people are starting to transition, you guys can't see it. You might be able to, but a lot of people are transitioning over to the Amalgam's 7th Spine because they know this class is so strong. We can do so much healing. The only thing holding us back at this point is our mana bar in some cases. So a lot of people are making that swap just because it's just we do a lot of healing. So when you guys ask me what do I think of this nerf, I hate that we get nerfed a lot, but in this specific case, I do think we were performing really well. We were putting up big numbers, and we were kind of allowing certain mechanics to be cheesable just because there's a Mistweaver in the group. For example, the Laradar, the single target spot healing of the seed, is like insane from us. And then like on Fyrakk, I know the big tree healing, a lot of people are just blasting that single target healing with just the Mistweaver. And it's a mechanic designed to kind of have all the healers funnel into that guy. So I don't know. You ask me, I think this nerf was warranted. Now the problem, though, I know I'm kind of taking Blizzard's side here, but the problem with this nerf, I think, is the timing. I mean, it's March 12th as of recording this. We don't really know when Season 4 is going to come out. We've been told it's in spring, so that's kind of vague, but it could be the end of this month. It literally could be next week. It could be early April. We don't know. However, it's soon. We do know it's soon because it's springtime, you know? So in this example, why they waited so long to nerf us is just weird. It's just weird, in my opinion, because now the only people left raiding at this point are literally progging Tindral, literally progging Fyrakk, and it's just there's been so many other guilds that have had the luxury of the, you know, although it is just a 6% nerf, they've had the luxury of having that buffed Mistweaver in their group progging these kills. So it's just weird. In my opinion, if I was on like the R&D team or the buff nerf team, I don't know what they're called, I would have just said ride out season 4. The 6% nerf isn't gonna, you know, it's not going to change the meta. No one's going to be like, oh, Mistweaver's nerfed. Guess we'll swap to Preservation Evoker. You know, no one's going to do that at this point in the meta or at this point in the tier. So it's just weird. However, I will say, since I do believe that we were due for a nerf, it would have made a lot more sense for this to come a couple weeks ago. And the last time we were nerfed, you know, the last buff class tuning, it just would have made sense. I guess it does take time for graphs to kind of skew and for better parses to be put up and stuff, but I don't know. It just seems like a weird timing unless season 4 is a little further out than we thought. But if it's in a few weeks, it's just mind-boggling. Okay, anyways, moving on from that, long story short, I think it was warranted, weird timing. But moving on from that, we do have some compensation buffs. Okay, so Sheilun's gift healing is increased by 6%. Now, this one is also just weird because in a Mythic Plus environment, this can fully heal everyone at like 7 or 8 stacks. So it's just weird. However, the reason why I think they're changing this is because I literally cannot wrap my head around it. But I do want to show you guys something. So let's do once again some napkin math. This is just a random person's Fyrakk parse. Whittle Mistweaver, if you're watching this, shout out because I'm using your parse. Let's just take a look at this log. So the reason why I clicked on this one is because it is one of the ones that is using Unison still. Unison is the talent at the bottom right of our Mistweaver tree that basically makes our Soothing Mist hit an additional target at reduced effectiveness, and our Jade Serpent statue will also duplicate that. So if we Soothing Mist one person, it will hit another target, our Jade Serpent will hit someone, and it will hit another target. So we're basically able to kind of Soothing Mist 4 targets at a time, but at, you know, the rate of probably like 3 times the amount of effectiveness of a Soothing Mist. I don't know why I'm blanking on the number, but you guys get the idea. So Unison is just free passive healing, and it works really well with Jade Serpent statue. However, it has also seen nerfs in the past that have made a lot of people swap to Legacy of Wisdom, myself included, because I did some napkin math, which, by the way, Legacy of Wisdom, it just makes your Sheilun's gift cast faster, but importantly, hit 2 additional targets. So going from 3 targets to 5 targets. Now, if we do some napkin math, this person obviously did not have Legacy of Wisdom. So if we look at their Sheilun's gift, we can do some very quick napkin math. So if this hit 3 targets and did 7 million healing, then we can think, well, what if it hit 5 targets every time? So then we can basically, what would that be? Multiply it times 1.66, which I guess we could do now. So calculator, so if it hit 2/3 more people, so 1.66 times, what would that be? 7.21. How much would their Sheilun's healing have been? Now, once again, this is napkin math because obviously some of this might have been lost to overhealing, but about 12 million. So they would have gained from this about 2.5 million from taking this talent. So their Sheilun's healing source would have gone up to this much. So 4.5 million healing. All right. I'm sorry, 5.5 million healing. Oh my God, math major, guys. Okay, so then Unison, you can look and say, oh, well, it did less than 5.5 million healing, right? So then just quick napkin math kind of tells you that it would have just been more worth it if this person took Legacy of Wisdom than Unison. But there is some behind the scenes numbers that are also should be taken into account. Because Unison doesn't just contribute this much healing. I know it technically is doing this much direct healing, but what a lot of people don't take into consideration is this one talent. Let me find it. Oh, this looks so weird. This one talent, where is it? Here. Okay. Yes, here. So Calming Coalescence. So each time Soothing Mist heals, the absorb amount of your life cocoon is increased by 2%, stacking up to 50 times. So if people are just caring about parsing, they will take this talent because it can make your life cocoon just do a huge heal absorb, and it counts for a lot of healing. So then you can also say, well, your Unison is making your Soothing Mist stack this up twice as fast, or almost twice as fast, or more than twice as fast, I think, if you cancel your own Soothing Mist. So then you can also then contribute a little portion of your life cocoon healing to Unison, and then, I don't know, the math gets weird. But like I'm saying, I have always believed, ever since that nerf to Unison, that Sheilun's Gift, Legacy of Wisdom, is just the better play. It can just give you more healing. But now, although I literally cannot tell you why they thought Sheilun's Gift healing needed to be increased, I think it's just because they want it to continue doing as much healing as it is. So if you take 6% off Sheilun's, they're like, well, we want Sheilun's to still pack a punch, so let's just make sure it's still strong. That's the only example I can give. But this should just be a further example of why you should be playing Legacy of Wisdom over Unison, in my opinion. Because they didn't change anything about Soothing Mist or Unison. They did keep Sheilun's Gift at roughly the same power. So if you're someone who is still playing a diehard Unison fan, hopefully the napkin math convinced you, but also there are some other reasons why you would still take Unison. I'm not calling you crazy. I'm just saying, look, I think they're trying to push it. But then they also compensation buffed Jadefire Stomp healing and damage, which the damage is good. I think having this be more of a part of your rotation is a good thing, because it should not be as simple as summon Fail or Jadefire line, Jadefire Stomp, and then spinning Crankcake at 5+ targets and then just do your single target rotation in between. I think having Jadefire Stomp come into the equation has been a pretty cool thing. So if you're at 5 targets, 5+ targets, then you could Jadefire Stomp whenever you get those resets, but then spinning Crankcake to fill the void. And then if you're below that, then do your single target rotation, but once again, pressing Jadefire Stomp if you're at 2 to 4 targets, whenever you get the resets, or just ignore it if you're on 1 target. That kind of thing is fun to me. I think it's really cool, and I think it's a cool source of damage, and I do like that it does more damage. Doing more healing is so unnecessary. I feel like they're really trying to push us to min-max this and just aim this at as many allies as possible. But the whole, play style behind this is that we have to stand on it to do our healing. So it just becomes impractical to think, should I aim it where we're going? Should I just fire it off? Or should I just aim it at our allies? Ideally, you fire it where you're going and your allies are already there, but that's just a spell like this. You can't think about the ideal scenario, but I guess just having it still do more healing, or I guess they're trying to, once again, compensate this. So they're taking 6% healing off of it, but they want Jadefire Stomp to not lose any healing. It's just weird. It just is weird. But once again, I'll take a damage increase. Sure. Now, Expel Harm healing increased by 6%. This one is weird too, because I'm sure you saw some clips of, I believe it was Sweggles, but way back in the PTR, someone had a clip where they healed like 2.7 million healing because they had all the buffs on themselves with Expel Harm. Every time I press Expel Harm, if it crits, I can go from like 10% all the way to full very easily. So a lot of people have been calling for this to actually get nerfed. So something about this, the whole, we're nerfing all of your healing, but we want to keep a certain few spells at their high power that they're at, is weird, especially when you keep Expel Harm into this mix. So this tells me that they really, really did not want to even touch the Mythic Plus playstyle. They want you to be as tanky and as safe and have that identity kept in a Mythic Plus environment, also in a rating environment. And then they also want your big healing cooldown in Mythic Plus environment to not lose any power. And they also just want to keep this identity of, hey, if you aim Phalanx at allies, it's going to do a bit more healing. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird list when you look at the big macro of it. But all in all, I like that they're taking away this nerf for the most part on these 3 spells. I just find it weird. I know I've said that like 10 times already this video, but it's just it's strange, is it not? And it's a strange part of the season for all this to be happening. I guess they just don't want to affect MDI Maybe, do you guys think that that could be what it is? They don't want MDI people that have been practicing as Mistweavers to like lose any big power or anything, but they just felt like they had to do something about raiding. I don't know. It's weird. Let's move on though. So let's talk about Druid first. So Rejuve healing is increased by 12%. Now, obviously there are some Druids that can do kind of crazy healing, but for the most part, Druid healing has felt so lackluster this season in Raid. I can tell you guys that my Resto Druid in my guild is just like not on it. He does not like it. Not a lot of people really enjoy the Treant playstyle, the whole like Fallen Order monks playstyle as a Druid. It just feels weird. And yeah, it just feels like your healing sources are not as impactful. So honestly, look, I'm a fan of this. Rejuve specifically getting a buff is pretty cool because they're already spamming it. They're already relying on this, but it just does not pack a punch, but now it will. I'm a fan of this. I'm happy for my Resto Druid brethren. And then also, let's move on to Preservation. So we have a developer's note for this one. Now, as you guys know, I have been working on a series where I take all 7 healer specs to 3K IO. It's crazy why I'm starting this late in the season because I feel like I just don't have enough time. But Preservation I've been playing a lot of, and I always have been vocal about how fun this spec feels until it is not fun anymore. And by what I mean by that is that there are some very clear flaws in this spec's design, or how this spec heals, how it moves, how it performs. There's just some clear flaws when you start to play it more often, and playing it more often in the series has just amplified those. So once one of those flaws happens or comes up, you are just instantly like, oh, why am I playing this spec? It's so crap. And some of those flaws, let me just list a few. 2 of your pretty important healing sources, Dream Breath and Resonating Spear, you have to like aim where you're shooting those. So you want to shoot those in Mythic Plus, shoot it through ideally everyone in your party. Dream Breath, you want everyone to be in front of you and kind of close together, clumped together so you can hit them all. But if you have one ranged player standing out in Narnia, it instantly these spells just get like crappy, feel bad, and then you have to waste another spot heal on that person because they just won't move in melee or close to melee, clumped closely. So that's weird. Also, one of your big spot heals has to put you out of position. And yes, you can echo your target and then use Verdant Embrace on yourself so you don't fly to them, you just spot heal both of you. But that's 2 globals to spot heal one person. It's just weird, okay? So those are some of the flaws, just to refresh you if you have not played this spec in the past. So the notes, developers' notes. Preservation has been underutilized lately. True, you rarely see these guys in Raid particularly, but in part due to the range restrictions of the specialization, which, by the way, yes, one of their main cooldowns or raid rotations is that both of those spells. Resonating Sphere, you shoot them through people, and then you send a buffed Dream Breath onto as many people as you can so that you can have just giant haunts on a bunch of people. That's how they do a lot of AoE healing. But once again, if you have to run out and do a mechanic, like say you get a bomb on Nimue or Naimu, however you say that, and then it's your turn to heal. It's like your cooldown or big damage is coming out. You have to somehow fly back in. Hopefully you've saved all of your mobility, fly back in, shoot it through the people that you hope are the ones that have taken damage. It's just weird, okay? It feels bad. So to help compensate for that, we are increasing the healing and defensiveness of Preservation so they can traverse the battlefield more easily and safely. So just, yeah, a head scratcher, literally. But it's just, once again, it's just weird. You're going to see, ideally, they add range to Dream Breath. They make its cone bigger. Resonating Sphere, they make it a little wider. Or they make it kind of tag people behind you as you shoot it out. Like maybe it comes out of your tail. I don't know, okay? It comes out of your tail, you poop it out, and then you scoot it underneath your legs. I don't know, but something like that just makes the most sense for specifically a play experience. But let's read what they changed. Time of Needs clones overall healing is increased by 100%. Time of Needs clones living flame healing is increased. So Time of Need, I might as well pull it up, but if someone drops low, you're going to spawn a clone that will basically like save their life. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull it up. So let me make sure I'm not blocking it. Okay, so Time of Need is a talent where if you or an ally fall below 20% health, like I said, if one of you is about to die, and you spawn a clone that will just basically blast heal them, and they're increasing the amount of healing that this is going to do. Now, you can probably already see the reason why I think this is just, once again, a weird change, a weird way to change this. Because Time of Need doesn't always hit yourself. It can just rescue an ally, which is good. I mean, it's good. It's good that it's seeing a buff because it can just make sure someone does not die in points where they otherwise would have. This is great. But this does not, equal this. So already one buff that doesn't really increase their defensiveness. Yes, it increases the healing and the utility maybe of preservation in raid, but it does not. This change does not fall under this big category. Okay, there, I said it. Now next up, Life Giver's Flame heals for 40 to 80% of the damage done, and it used to. So it's just getting a small buff, just a small buff. Now this, I believe, is the Fire Breath talent when they heal with Okay, Fire Breath heals 5 nearby injured allies for 35% done. So this will be 40%. And then if you put 2 points into it, it'll heal them for 80. This is like solid. It can be a solid spot heal on the tank in a Mythic Plus environment, or it can be a solid AoE heal in a Mythic Plus environment if you fully charge up your Fire Breath, or you can just have a nice little hot on people. I like this talent. Why they're buffing this, I have no idea. Maybe they just want to add some value in a raid environment, so already you're incentivized to press Fire Breath whenever it's on cooldown because it does good damage, and can do good healing, but maybe they just wanted to do more. I do think it used to just hit one target, but now it splits evenly, so it will hit one target if only one target is missing health. But if everyone's at 80% health, you do your Fire Breath, everyone's going to kind of either have the hot on them or just take a big smack heal depending on how fast you charge it or how much you charge it. So just, once again, I mean, yeah, technically it does. It is a healing increase. We're increasing the healing and defensiveness, so the healing of preservation. Okay, sure, I guess you did. So this, to me, this is more of a Mythic Plus change, or maybe they just want people in raid to take this and just have more passive healing. I guess, I don't know, man. The Blizzard is cooking. Okay, Blizzard is cooking. So Inherent Resistance reduces magic damage taken by 4 to 8%, was 2 to 4% for Preservation Evoker. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This definitely falls under this. It's increasing the defensiveness of preservation and can help them survive since it's since it's magic damage taken. It can help them survive one shots in Mythic Plus, can help them stay alive more in raid. They did a similar change to Mistweavers before, where they basically doubled the effectiveness of one of their passive tankiness talents, and it was great. Okay, it was great. So huge thumbs up. I'm very happy for my Evoker friends. Hopefully they can push into those higher keys because they do some nice damage. They're pretty fun to watch in Mythic Plus, so that's a good change. Okay, Attuned to the Dream increases healing done and received by 3 to 6%, was 2 to 4% for Preservation Evoker. Okay, I'll be honest, I definitely had to look on the talent tree for this one because I had no idea where it was, but it looks like just a flat healing increasing talent. It increases your healing done and received by a certain amount. So the fact that they're buffing that will be basically a flat healing increase as long as you talent into this, which I'm guessing you do in all forms of content. So pretty cool. Okay, what would that be? A 1 to 2% buff overall to healing stacked on top of all these other small buffs. So yes, their healing will be more, but will it be enough? I don't think so. But the whole thing about Preservation Evoker, I said it on one of my streams, and I hope this isn't the reason why they're adjusting Mistweaver and Preservation, but why would you ever bring a Preservation Evoker in raid if you have someone who can play Mistweaver? It's just a thing. Like, they kind of fulfill a similar role in a Mythic or in a raiding environment. So that's kind of been the question. Why would you bring a Preservation when you could bring a mate or a monk that can do just better, can do the same thing better? That's kind of what the big question in top end guilds has been. That's why you don't see preservations as much in top end guilds, and you see Mistweavers a lot more frequently. So that has kind of been the general consensus. So now that they're adjusting like this, I don't know where these guys are going to lie, but I would think that Mistweaver's still going to edge them out a little bit, since they still will probably, just napkin mathing off of my own log from earlier, we will still do a bit more healing, I'm thinking, than these guys, than all the other healers. So all in all, like I said, just, I hate to say it again, but just weird changes. Definitely needed tuning, definitely needed. That is not what I'm arguing at all. I think these classes needed buffs in the ways that they got buffs, maybe even more for Evoker. And monks honestly needed a nerf. It's a weird way to compensate it. I feel like they could have worked on this a bit more. Like, where's Essence Font? Okay, I like Essence Font. Okay, call me crazy. There, I said it. Call me crazy. I like Essence Font, but just a weird list of changes. And the problem is we're so late in the season that I just don't think we're gonna see things change too much. In my opinion, it looks like the developers have been cooking a bit too much on Season of Discovery, and I don't know. It's just weird. But let me know what you guys think. I hope that I didn't tick anyone off, because I honestly don't have any super strong opinions about these. I hope that you guys kind of picked up on that. I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, sure, these changes need to happen. It's just, I don't know. I probably would have done things differently if I was in the hot seat, but hey, I'm not. Okay, I acknowledge that. But guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. What are you definitely doom and gloom about these nerfs? Are you super excited about these buffs? Let me know all that and more down below. But guys, while you're down there, check out the links in the description, because these guys on screen did that, and they are now patrons of this channel and absolutely hard carrying this channel in my dream of being a YouTuber. So thank you so much to these guys. And while you're down there, make sure that you guys hit the like button if you like this video, and make sure that you are subscribed, because we are making a lot of content lately, and I'm working my butt off, and I would really appreciate it. And you guys would not miss the next video that I upload if you subscribe. So guys, do all that sellout stuff. But my name's LB Ninja 7, your resident Mystery Monk, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.